Hello everyone, good evening. Let us talk one more interesting topic in biochemistry, that is plasma proteins and its types, functions, and we can detect we can identify the normal values. The objectives of today's presentation is we have to identify regarding difference between plasma and serum, types of plasma proteins, functions of plasma proteins, the normal value of plasma proteins, and the specialized role of different types of plasma proteins, the functions of albumin, fibrinogen. So let us identify difference between plasma and serum. So what is plasma and serum? Plasma is obtained by centrifuging blood that has been treated with an anticoagulant to prevent clotting. So how we are going to obtain plasma? Plasma is extracted during the process of centrifuging blood that has been treated with an anticoagulant, and we are adding anticoagulant to prevent clotting. The serum is different from plasma in its protein content. So serum is different and plasma is different. So what is the difference? The serum is different from plasma in its protein content. The serum contains only the albumin and globulin. So this is here we can see this plasma versus serum. Plasma is different and serum is different. So here the plasma is consist of the three components. What are they? Albumin, globulin and fibrinogen. Whereas serum is consist of only albumin and globulin. And this is a machine we can notify in the clinical area that is known as centrifuger. The plasma contain the albumin and globulin and fibrinogen. The main difference, plasma is consist of the three components. What are they? Albumin, globulin and fibrinogen. The fibrinogen is absent in the serum because it is converted into fibrin during the coagulation of blood. So once the blood is getting clotting, that is known as serum. So though thus the serum is equal to plasma minus fibrinogen. In the serum there is no fibrinogen. In the plasma there is a fibrinogen. Then let us see plasma proteins, also termed as blood proteins, are proteins present in the blood plasma. Plasma is a clear yellowish fluid portion of the blood that is approximately 55 to 60 percentage in which cells are suspended. Plasma is obtained by centrifuging blood that has been treated with an anticoagulant to prevent clotting. Plasma contains a variety of proteins with different functions. Changes in the concentration of plasma protein can give important clinical information. Sometimes plasma contents are different, that makes the various abnormalities by the patient. So let us talk about regarding types of plasma proteins. There are major three different types of plasma proteins, each serving different specific functions. The major forms of plasma proteins are albumin, globulin and fibrinogen. These globulins which have subtypes, that these are alpha globulin, beta globulin and gamma globulin. So these three together is known as plasma proteins. What are they? Albumin, globulin with subtypes. These are alpha globulin, beta globulin and gamma globulin, and another one is fibrinogen. Then subtypes of globulin classified into on the basis of their position after separation of serum protein by electrophoresis. So all the albumin and fibrinogen are synthesized by the liver only. So here we can see, what do you mean by electrophoresis? The movement of charged particles in a fluid or gel under the influence of an electric field. So here the ions will be moved when we are providing charging to them. So the movement of charged particle in a fluid or gel under the influence of electric field. So in previous class we have discussed regarding this electrophoresis. In this process we can able to separate the serum proteins. And what is the meaning of synthesis? It is a composition and combination of parts or elements so as to form a whole. Similarly, 50 to 80 percentage of the globulin is formed in the liver. The remainder of globulin is formed almost entirely in the lymphoid tissue. 50 to 80 percentage of the globulin is formed in the liver, whereas the rest of the globulins is formed in the entirely maybe in the lymphoid tissue. So let us look at regarding the plasma proteins. There are different kind of functions are there for the plasma proteins. So how it will be helpful? It will helpful for the various functions. And the first one is maintenance of colloidal osmotic pressure. It's also known as oncotic pressure. The principal functioning of the albumin is to maintain colloidal osmotic pressure in the plasma, which in turn prevents loss of plasma from the capillaries and control the distribution of water in the body. So how it was? It is going to maintain in the colloidal pressure. The principal functioning of the albumin is to maintain the colloidal, some kind of pressure in the blood vessel is going to be maintained, and which in turn it prevents the loss of plasma. Plasma will be remaining in the blood from the capillaries and controls the distribution of water in the body. Then another functioning is maintenance of blood pressure. The plasma proteins provide viscosity, thickness to the blood, and which important to maintain the blood pressure. Albumin provides more viscosity than other plasma proteins. So what do you mean by this word viscosity? A state of being thick, sticky, and semi-fluid in consistency due to internal friction. Another functioning is maintenance of acid-base balance. Proteins play a part in managing the or maintaining the blood pH. This is because of the buffering action of the protein. Proteins are negatively charged at body pH and therefore acts as a basis accepting the hydrogen ions. Always remember the molecules which are having negative energy, they will move towards the positively. Or if the molecule having the positive energy, they will move towards the negatively. Role in transport of metabolites. Albumin transport many metabolites which are poorly soluble in water as fatty acids, bilirubin, inorganic constituent of plasma like calcium, certain steroid hormones and drugs. Role of protein in defense mechanism of body. The gamma globulin plays an important role in defense mechanism of the body. These molecules act as antibodies and are called immunoglobulins. What do you mean by immunoglobulins? Immunoglobulins are antibodies or glycoproteins which are produced by the plasma cells. That's why it is helpful for the role of protein in the defense mechanism, fighting against the antigens. Then another functioning is involvement in inflammatory responses. Some proteins are involved in the inflammatory responses. So for example, CRP. CRP is known as C-reactive protein which is involved in the body's response to foreign compounds. Then another one is enzymatic functioning of protein. The globulin perform a number of enzymatic functions in the plasma. For example, blood coagulation factors. Then one more functioning is role in blood coagulation. Fibrinogen is essential for the coagulation of the blood. During coagulation of the blood, the fibrinogen changes. Polymerization means changes into the long fibrin thread, thereby forming blood clots that help to repair leaks in the cardiovascular system. When we are undergoing any minute injury, after few minutes or few seconds, our blood is going for clotting. So because of the presence of this fibrinogen in the blood. And let us identify the normal values of plasma proteins. Total protein 6 to 8%, 8 gram. Albumin 3.5 to 6 gram, globulin 2 to 3.5 gram, fibrinogen 200 to 400 milligram, A by G ratio. What do you mean by A by G ratio? Albumin by globulin ratio 1.2 to is 2 is to 1 to 2.5 to 5 2.5 is to 1. Then specialized role of different types of plasma proteins. The first one is albumin. Albumin is a major protein in the plasma. Albumin exclusively synthesized by the liver. Albumin normally accounts for approximately 54% of total plasma protein or 3.5 to 6.0 gram per dl of blood. How much the percentage albumin is present in the blood? 54 percentage. Then functions of albumin. Albumin is a major primary functioning is the maintenance of colloidal osmotic pressure. The colloid osmotic pressure of the blood is important in maintaining a balance between the water inside the blood and that in the tissue fluid around the cells. So how it will helpful? It maintains our colloidal osmotic pressure. Then this albumin plays a predominant role in maintaining blood volume and body fluid distribution. For example, there is no plasma in the blood. What will happen? Intracellular fluid will be shifted towards the extracellularly. So when the plasma proteins are deficient, so in the blood there is a deficiency of the plasma protein, what will happen? The water in the plasma leaks out into the spaces around the blood vessel and may result in the edema. Symptoms of liver disorders, kidney disease and malnutrition. Then albumin also helps transport many metabolites which are purely soluble in water as fatty acids, bilirubin, inorganic constituents of plasma like calcium, certain steroid hormones and drugs. Then another functioning is buffering functioning. Among the plasma protein, albumin has maximum buffering capacity due to its high concentration in blood. Then nutritive function. Degradation of albumin provides essential amino acids during malnutrition. So what do you mean by degradation? It's a process of smoothing becoming worse or weaker. Sorry, it's a process of something becoming worse or weaker. Then let us identify regarding globulin. The globulin is the second most common plasma protein or globulins. There are three main subtypes known as alpha, beta and gamma globulin. Unlike alpha and beta globulin, which are produced in the liver, immunoglobulins, gamma globulins are produced by the specialized leukocytes known as plasma cells. Alpha and beta globulin, which are produced in the liver, these two are produced in the liver, whereas immunoglobulin, these are known as gamma globulins, which are produced by the specialized leukocytes. It is known as plasma cells. Globulins make up approximately 38% of the total plasma protein volume or 2.2, 2.0 to 3.5 gram per dl of blood. Globulins are bigger size than albumin. Globulin constitutes several fractions. These are alpha globulin, for example, high density lipoprotein. Then beta globulin, for example, low density lipoprotein. Gamma globulin, the most gamma globulins are immunoglobulins. These are known as antibodies. All antibodies are immunoglobulins, but all immunoglobulins may not be antibodies. Now you understood here, all antibodies are immunoglobulins, but all immunoglobulins may not be antibodies. They constitute about 20% of all the plasma proteins. The primary functioning of all antibodies is to protect against infectious agents or their products. Functions of globulin. The alpha and beta globulin transport iron, copper, lipids, hormone thyroxine and fat soluble vitamins A, D, E and K to the cells. Like albumin, they also contribute to osmotic pressure. The gamma globulin are proteins involved in immunity and are known as antibodies or immunoglobulin. They are produced by the B lymphocytes, and the antibodies are responsible for the body's immune function. Then third one is fibrinogen. The least abundant plasma protein is fibrinogen. Fibrinogen accounts for about 4% of the total plasma protein or 200 to 400 milligram per deciliter. Like albumin and the alpha and beta globulin, fibrinogen is synthesized by the liver. Then functions of fibrinogen, it is essential for blood clotting process. During blood coagulation, fibrinogen is converted to the fibrin, which polymerizes to form fibrin clot. Plasma level of fibrinogen decreases in severe hepatic diseases. Then what do you mean by polymerization? Is a chemical reaction in which two or more molecules combines to form larger molecules. Then let us summarize our topic. So far we have discussed regarding difference between the plasma and serum. So what is the main difference between the plasma and serum? Plasma is consist of the albumin, globulin and fibrinogen, whereas serum is consist of the albumin and globulin. And types of plasma proteins, these three are the types of plasma protein. What are they? Albumin, globulin and fibrinogen. Then we have discussed regarding the plasma protein functions and their normal values, the specialized role of different types of plasma proteins, that is like albumin and globulin. So I hope my dear students you understood the concept of the types of plasma proteins and its functions. So okay, once again, thank you one and all. We meet once again. Have a nice day.